ॐ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Are you able to see the questions?
Yes,
The
Swami.
slide? Yeah. Okay. Vedanta talks of attaching to the higher self and detaching from the lower. To do this while looking at the law of karma, it seems as though teaching Vedanta seems to accumulate the least negative karma. I don't know how Barry got this idea. Okay. Least. While doing business, for example, seems to accumulate more negative karma. Could you explain if this is the case and what one should do to not accumulate negative karmas so as to evolve to the higher self? Mahesh is the question.
Yeah, Swami, I'll tell you my rationale behind this behind this question. So even that day we went to land, we are in the process of promoting land. You said trees should not be cut. See, my nature of business is I've got to develop, means I've got to somehow harm the trees. So it is a negative karma in the sense which we accumulate. Say I make a paper, I make a brick unit. I've got to clear the soil, and the process might affect n number of creatures other than humans. So, but as such, teaching Vedanta is like I don't find any negative unless we intentionally do it. Like, uh, so that is what. Since even the Brahmins are placed in the higher Brahmins in the sense people who teach, not by me. I mean by community. So even in our ancient Puranas and texts which we have talked earlier, Brahmins are placed at the top. Then comes the protector of the people. Then comes the businessman. Then comes the services people who serve these people. So that was my rationale behind this question.
Okay. Nimesh, have anything until Prabhu reads the question?
Yeah, so I think we had a similar question Prabhu had asked, or maybe share somebody who's running a business also had asked a couple of months back when it was like I think Sharon's cousin or somebody was there at fire or something they were doing. I think some business was happening, right? You can't hear me, Mahesh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Sherin's partner. He was
Sharon's
into
partner or
some
something.
Yeah. His friend. Yeah, to this.
Yeah, friend or something, and where they said that karma that will. So, I don't know if you really feel guilty about it. That's what you spoke around that point in time, and then that see what you have to do, you have to do at this point in time, and I don't think that can be changed or overnight. I'm not very sure that. I mean, some bad karmas will keep accumulating, and somewhere somebody will have to, we'll have to pay for it for everything what we do. But how do you? So, what's the question? Could you kindly explain if this is the case and what one should do not to accumulate negative karmas so as to evolve the higher self? I think some lectures, and I'm just showing Shamji to guide us. It's in the intent in terms of Swamiji had made. What is the intent you're trying to do? Uh, and that is very important when you do any activity. Uh, and whether you feel guilty after it or not. I don't know, Shamji can guide us that, I'm just, my mind is going through different examples, as Swamiji said. Okay, it's even somebody eating non-veg also. If he's not feeling for it, then he will, doesn't
There's
feel
no
for it.
attached
Yeah,
to it. Like,
yeah. But yes, in terms of over longer term, he'll have to pay for it. It's not that he can't not pay for it, because if you're killing an animal, I mean, for your eating, you keep accumulating that. Now, whether that stops, I have no idea whether that stops you from going to the higher self. Because I think going to higher self for us is a far, far stretch. I think we are just taking baby steps to get to there, and sleep every day, uh, such that we feel we get a good sleep and we don't have that. So if this is accumulating negatively every day for you, and you're feeling that you are hurting the environment, you are doing a harm to anything, then I think you must bring in a change, so that you are having inner peace, or inner conversation which happens to you should come out of that. Some or later, not immediately, I must say, in a 6 months, 1 year, 2 year period, whenever it's possible. Slowly, gradually, you must, come out of it if it is disturbing you there. Other than that, I have no idea in terms of how you can stop accumulating those negative karmas.
Prabhu?
So my understanding is like if I understand this question correctly, like as long as whatever you're doing, whatever business you're doing, you're if you're not causing any harm to others, um, then you are in a good path. Even if you cause a little bit of harm in some sort of like you are not even aware of it, but you're causing harm. That's where I feel like you would start accumulating um, um, a negative karma or whatever um, they say here, right? Uh, but how do you uh, evolve out of this? Something like um, it's an opposite thing, right? Like you need to be self-aware that like what if you're serving other uh, I mean not unconsciously but consciously, if you think that you are not doing any harm, uh, I believe you'll slowly evolve.
So the law of karma is based on the law of intent. It has nothing to do with the actual action. This is a law of intention. This is the first thing we need to understand. So therefore, it is not the action that you perform that matters, the intention with which you perform the action that's more important. So if I teach Vedanta to think that through this I'll get name and fame, how I can enrich myself, everything, that's also negative karma only. I'll face the consequence of that. You understand? You may do business and with the right intent. Then even if you are in business, you may be doing the right karmas, right? You may be accumulating the right karmas. So it's not the action, the gross action that matters, but the intention behind the action that's most important, right? For vasana, the karma to be positive or negative. Now, this is the first step. Second is to understand that it is not that the action of teaching is superior, the action of business is inferior, the action of seva is most inferior. There's nothing like that. When you see it in this light, it is the intention that defines the quality of your actions, not the actual action per se. So, the Martin Luther King Jr., the man who spoke for the revolution of the Americans, he says, if you are a sweeper, sweep so well that the gods may say, here was a great sweeper. So, in other words, he said, it doesn't matter what action you perform. What is the dedication, commitment, and what intention you're doing it is the most important thing. Right? So, therefore, there's nothing to do with the gross action, it is to do with the intention behind it for a larger interest in everything. Now, when you know that that is one. Second point that you need to understand is every moment of our life, we are probably causing harm to something or someone as we are living. You are drinking water, you are boiling it, you are killing germs. That's also karma only, isn't it? You are walking, then what happens? You are stamping on something. You don't know, right? So it is not what those things that matter, but what you are doing with your life. If you are performing unselfish actions, then it offsets a lot of these things which you don't know what you're doing. If you remember the chapter 2 classes, the Gita classes, you remember the 5 Panchamahayajnas that the person does. You remember we spoke that portion. So there they do this because they know that knowingly or unknowingly they may be causing harm to other creatures. Now we don't know, we can't go and serve those creatures specifically. So generally you perform unselfish actions. So it offsets a lot of these things, right? But where you think, for example, right, you said no, you had to cut trees somewhere, right? So then you plant more of the trees. So you are offsetting these things because you know this has to be done. So are you doing this offsetting part also? You need to be very conscious of. So in other words, the moment you become conscious that you may be doing something wrong, you will have to do. See, they say prayashchitta, right? That's one of those things that we talk about in Hinduism, or pariharam. They say pariharam means you offset that thing by doing something else. What Vedanta says is offset it by doing some very noble action, but it offsets this. So that's what you do. So accumulation or removing of karma is directly to do with your attitude. So therefore, a judge who's giving a verdict that this person should be hanged, does he face negative karma? No. His intention is not to harm that person. So he has to be in rational judgment, objective judgment of a particular case. And he is going by the man-made laws, right? The lot of the laws of life are there. So he is not subject to that negative karma of, asking a person to be killed. You understand? A doctor performs a beautiful surgery. Patient dies, but he has put all the effort to do the right thing. Is he going to face negative karma for it? He will not face negative karma because the intention was to save. In that process, the person died. In protecting the nation, the soldier goes and shoots. Is he going to face negative karma? No, because his intention is a larger interest. So normally when you go, he's not going to fight with people. There, in that process of protection, these are the things he has to do. You understand? So therefore, action per se has nothing to do with accumulation or removal. It is to do with your intention behind it. Right? Having said that, now the moment you think you have understood, you have to confuse, So having said that, you understand. So if you perform, so you set your to action itself in such a way that the action itself per se is also not harming somebody. You will ensure that. In other words, that doesn't mean you can go and cause harm to anybody. You can do prayashchitta. That's not what it is meant. You will always do something that doesn't harm somebody. But if it is harming, you are also doing something to offset it. That's how you have to look at it. Yeah, is it okay? Any questions?
But if your intent is right, why do you harm in like when your intent is right and you act on based on that intent, how come you would harm some other harm people?
No. In other words, what I'm saying is, for example, if I'm just taking Mahesh, I'm very tough on Mahesh, say, as a teacher, right? All the time I'm pulling his leg, or I'm pulling his leg is okay, it's just a joke. I'm just keeping on being very tough with him for him to change his ways, right? So now it is as though he will think I'm causing harm. I came to this, the man is always shouting at me. You understand? So I may be harsh to him for a good reason, for him to get better. So though my intention is good, I may have to at times do it. We may be tough on our children at times because they have gone to that point where only that sort of being harsh with them brings them up. So
Yeah, but in that example as well, your intent as well as your action is also right. I mean, your action from your perspective is not to harm, but from other point of view, they might think it's kind of
So correct. So therefore, that's what I'm saying. Your thought, what it should be in line, but at times the deed may look something very harsh, but if the intention is okay, there's no problem. That's all I'm saying.
okay.
For me, I'll give an example to him, Swami.
Yes.
Say I'm developing a plot, there are 10 trees in it. Then I need to, for paving of my road, I need to cut those 10 trees. Then the intent is for the development of the plot, for the greater good of the mankind. But I am going to harm the trees. I'm going to cut the trees. So practice would be like to plant more trees or like compensate it to some other place where we plant trees. So this is where the intent is right, but we accumulate.
Yeah. Action seems to be negative. We are not saying it's actually negative because Prabhu's point is if the intent is correct, action is also correct. Why are you calling it negative? This is his
Should be
question.
correct. Yes.
To which my
Yes,
point is action appears negative. It's not actually negative. But that doesn't mean it gives us a free rein to be always negative at the level of action because intent, we are saying intention is okay. That's not what is meant. Intention and action should also be like that only. There you don't even
So I
cause
should
harm to
I
others.
should avoid. I should plan in such a way that the minimum trees are cut or no trees are cut for that matter.
Correct. But if it is possible, if you have to do it, then you do it where you compensate it by putting more of the trees somewhere else or moving it. I don't know, whatever is the case. Yeah. Any other questions?
Generally offsetting. So I understood Panchaposha and but in case of when you know that action, so now your awareness also there that action intent to nahi hai, but action is harming something. I don't know. I don't have a good example. This example I'm quite clear, but somebody is supposed to is selling non-veg products or something like that. Okay. Now, in a shop or in some manner, the negative action has already happened. In the sense, negative karma has already happened. Can we, in terms of consider offsetting that? Now, this is, I'm okay with very clear with my share and looks very broadly there. But there could be many things which we'll be doing or some businesses. That's what I'm saying, hypothetically selling non-veg products, something like that. Now, in that, clearly the harm is happening to the animals. Is the philosophy saying that I can offset that as well? And can I avoid?
Ideally, you should avoid it if it is possible. It's the ideal
Correct.
condition. Because now that you also are aware of it and you are still causing harm,
Correct.
you will pay for it. That karma.
Pay for it. Now, that's all. Now, I got my answer. That's it. So I will pay for it.
Yeah, you will pay for it. Yeah.
And over a period of time, if possible, I should find a way to come out of it because I can't avoid the law of karma.
Correct.
For doing that.
Correct.
So that is the reason I didn't venture into this fishing business. I have a pond, big pond here. I thought of capitalizing on the pond, but I didn't want to go for like fishing or other, wherein I just grow the fishes to kill them and sell them.
Yeah. So these are
Perfect.
conscious decisions you can take. Correct.
Yeah. So that's a perfect one. So I think there's a question I would ask is similar like you only. If I know you would harm the fishes in the sense by selling and killing them, and you're stopping it. So both you stop the action. So you are avoiding the negative, impact of the law of karma. You have to face consequences in case you do that. You stopped it. So I got the answer.
So I've not even given it on lease to anyone also for that matter. I just left it naturally as such.
Correct.
Fantastic.
Even giving it lease would be like we are also a part
Ultimately,
of
you're
the.
causing or creating a path for somebody to do that action.
Yeah.
Our land is there, so it will have an impact to you for sure.
In fact, Mahesh's they're Marwadis, right? So they are into pawnbroking. When they set up a shop for him, he stopped it because he didn't want to charge so much of interest to people. No, he felt it was not good. Like,
Nice.
why you should benefit. So he has done all that. So this question he shouldn't have asked, but anyway, he asked. Good that we got clarity on it. So when you know you're doing something wrong, if you
Correct.
continue it, you will pay the karma. So, but
Correct.
if
I
people
got
are
that, sir.
unaware of it and they're doing it's okay. It's just that they're unaware of it. But
Correct.
with the law of karma, you will be able to explain that having had the capacity to know it, if you're not applying yourself also, that is also negligence only.
Yeah.
So that karma
Perfect.
will be there. But because it was not a pure, the very conscious intention, therefore the effect will be less. That's all.
Got it.
Question 2. Swamiji speaks of standardization in the session. What is standardization? How does one standardize in one's life? Mahesh's question.
So maybe I'll give a shot here. I've tried applying in life. Though sometimes I do fail. So for example, he says, whatever is your capacity in life, okay, so 100 rupees, 200 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 5 lakh rupees, whatever is the money which you can afford it, not trying to show things or not staying below it. If you can afford the best shirt, say 4,000 rupees, Zodiac shirt or Blackberry shirt or whatever there, right? Just take that one or two and get on with life. All right. There's no point in trying to buy those thousand rupee shirt and uh, or simplifying within the shirt also white or blue color only. I think the reason that all the students wear the same uniform, it's a standardization. So there's no thinking, there is no discussion across. Everybody follows in the academy a straight thing, which is a standard. Everybody will wear the uniform. So in all areas of life, wherever from the Mont Blanc pen, then buy a Mont Blanc pen and get away with it. Right? Let's not keep finding more and more. Your mind should not get disturbed again and again to try and find out our next pen, or something, next shirt, next this thing. Whatever you can afford it in your life, in areas of life, in all the areas of life, just make it, standard. And I think Swamiji spoke, or maybe I read somewhere else, like the Facebook founder, he just wears, or Bill Gates, and just wears the simple same T-shirt, a blue T-shirt. I don't know whether you know Marshall Goldsmith, fabulous author. Met him twice in India, done some 30, 40 books. Always standardization. He'll have a green polo T-shirt and a khaki pant. No matter where he's going, which platform he's speaking out there, he just standardizes it. So it becomes much more easy for him to not worry about or think about it. Okay, I want to buy this, wear this, what to do about that. So that way, each area you can just standardize and get away with it, done and get on to what karma or actions to become. That would be my answer.
Prabhu?
I think Nimesh pretty much covered everything. Basically, what I believe Swami said was like live life simply. Uh, like if you have like too much of stuff, your mind gets cluttered with different complex thoughts. Like if you if you have only like two pairs of shirt, you don't have a choice. You just like wear wear this one or that one. Like like that's one of the example. Any things like if you have multiple options, then your mind might think, oh, like what I have to do this time. Like if you have not a lot of choice, then like you're practically living a simple life by not having too many choices.
So the standardization first we are asked to do because of the simple reason that mind by nature keeps getting attracted to things. That's the nature of anybody's mind. So therefore, what they are saying is, in the non-essential aspects of life, what are so many non-essential aspects of life, you can simplify and standardize your life. So the mind doesn't waste energy in those areas. So the idea is, once you give the mind what it wants in those areas, then you can use the mind for what you want to achieve. So what are the non-essential areas? The type of clothes you wear, the type of car you drive, the type of home that you have. You understand? See, Swami has standardized to a point where he only teaches in English. He only teaches the Gita. You understand? He has only one institution. You understand? So everything is standardized to such an extent that all the energies can be focused properly. And the mind doesn't get attracted. So in other words, the type of clothes, like what Dinesh was saying, why we wear this kurta, pajama. In fact, when I go in casuals, people don't even recognize me because they always see me in kurta and pajama, right? It's a simple thing. When you're going out, wear this. So you can also standardize what you would want to wear because it's a non-essential area. What type of most comfortable clothing, that's all, just wear. So what, there are the one more thing. In these areas, if you give the mind what it wants, then in those areas where you want to control the mind, it will cooperate with you because you can say, hey, you got what you wanted, right? So you can pick and choose. And it could, and how, so what type of things I should choose? It should be well within my income or wealth. So you can't, Mahesh, standardize, sir, my standardization is Rolls Royce. So therefore now I have to go earn another 10 crores to buy Rolls Royce. No. That standardization should also be within your, well within your income. So then you understand reference point is my income and I standardize all these, the type of clothes I wear, or like what type of gadgets you want to have. If you want to have Apple products, keep it. It's okay. Never mind. Give the mind what it wants. That's it. Then what will happen? Oh, Google has launched a new phone. You will not get attracted to it because you already gave the mind what it wants. You understand? So it is an intelligent way of handling the mind. And why are they saying keep it simple in the sense? This, imagine you have only, you're standardized to, I'm not saying for Mahesh because he doesn't have to wear formal wear. Maybe Nimesh has to wear formal wear. So if something like white shirts or white or light blue shirts and only grey pants, see, he's standardized and he has a blazer, right? He wears. And then the ties for that. Every day he doesn't have to spend 10 minutes choosing the clothes. See, you're wasting your energy in that. That's what people don't understand. So what type of food you want to eat? Once you standardize, you don't waste time. The type of food you eat, that can be standardized. The type of vehicle you're using, that can be standardized. So when you see a new product vehicle going, you won't get attracted to it. So also what type of business you will do, because my age is businessman. That also you standardize. I will only be doing these businesses. I will not do beyond this because this means I have to learn and spend energy on it, right? So I will only do these things. And even standardize on how you do business also. What sort of a model you will follow in business. See, everything you think once and you set, this is what I want to do. So when you're fixing the standards, give a lot of thinking. And once it is done, then you can keep doing it. Number one. Number two, it doesn't mean you should not tweak your standards. The standards can be changed over a period of time. It's not fixed. Right. So then what happens, depending on your income going up, or you may change your standards. It's okay. That doesn't matter. But you don't change standards every week. Last week, this was a standard. This week, then it's not a standard at all because it's changing. So standardization, simply put, giving the mind what it wants in these areas which is inconsequential to you, where you won't lose yourself. So that whatever you want to do with your career, you want to do in your spiritual aspects, the mind is available for you to apply. So if you don't, so that is why you do it. So see, for a simple thing, Swamiji used to say that he has fixed a standard for travel. You know what is the standard? Public transport. That is what is fixed in his head. He is able to afford a vehicle, so he goes. So what happens, even when he goes in public transport, anything above is heaven, isn't it? Anything above is very comfortable. So this is what happens when you standardize. So you have standardized at a level which your mind is very comfortable. Anything above that level is heaven. If you get it, you enjoy it. But if you don't have it, you're not bothered. But that's not how the mind is. Mind is always craving for something higher, higher, higher. So therefore, you're never happy. So keep it within your wealth and standardize in those areas which is of non-essential areas. Non-essential means of no consequence in the sense of the type of food you eat, the type of vehicle you will use, the type of place you want to live, and then the type of clothes you wear, all these things. And even when it comes to important things, what type of business you will venture into or not venture into, you understand? All these things you keep, then life becomes very simple. Even when you go to the mall, you know where to go and what to buy. Even you can even fix the brand that you will buy. There are people. Even in air, when they fly, also they have specific aircrafts only there. They only some people. I had somebody who used to only fly Jet Airways. He will not fly any other airlines. It's like that. So you could fix the standard for everything. So the mind doesn't get attracted. This is the whole idea, nothing else. And incidentally, also to summarize, you can change your standard over a period of time. Doesn't matter. You don't have to don't have to keep it fixed. Any questions?
So, and standardization with frugality also, Swami.
So that's what. So the frugality comes based on what is frugal is based on your income. See, frugality is different by your income. That's what you have to understand. For Ambani, what is frugality? If he goes by A380, it's frugality only because that's his aircraft. Because he's already paid for it. For his income is so much. If he takes aircraft, that's frugal only. But from our point of view, we're saying, oh, he's flying an aircraft. No. Because it is defined by his income. So what is frugal is defined by your wealth. And your desires become well within the wealth.
Can I
Yes.
add something?
Yes, Nimesh.
Mahesh, I think, there's a thin line, and to reach that frugality, what he said, supposing your income is, in simple, much higher. Being frugal, you say that I will not buy a branded shirt or a branded, mobile or something like that. And then if your mind keeps craving that I want to get, better shirt, more thing across there, then it'll not help. So that's why it is somewhere he says it should not be gaudy or it should not be in terms of cheap or like that. Frugality is that where you can afford it, okay? And you reach to a point, you don't go beyond, say, 100 rupees you earn, 80 rupees ke upar mat jao. That's a frugality. But you don't buy something just because you want to be frugal. At 20 rupees or 40 rupees you buy, and then all the mind keeps thinking, Arey, I should have bought a better brand, I should have done like that. Then it will not help us. It will keep disturbing out there. So standardization is saying there is reaching to a level of your life or wealth and buying something where your mind stops disturbing you in those areas of life, which is what he highlighted earlier. But somewhere when you ask the question, I felt that you will start to think with Swamiji has a very different state. Public transport mein jayenge and he'll not feel it all there. But if you go to public transport, say, boss, I can afford a AC car and I can do like that. If your mind goes, then it'll keep disturbing you. He's at a different stage. We can't compare in that level. Whatever your car status is there, follow that car status and continue doing that. Yeah. But don't keep looking every car. That's what he said at the start. Don't keep looking every car which comes out and says, I would have bought this also. I would have bought this also. Then it's not standardization happening. Then your mind will keep disturbing out there. Which is as I thought I'll answer that frugality part to complete that piece. Should not disturb you.
So by
So
frugality,
basically,
yes, Prabhu.
basically your desire plus expense should not exceed the income.
Correct. That's the whole thing. Correct. So,
No,
for example, if you say
minus expense.
sorry. Yeah, continue.
No, I think he said it well, but you continue. Maybe if you could add. Sorry.
So if you say frugal, what is frugality? See, if you don't have a definition of frugality, it becomes very difficult to continue life. I'll tell you why. So you are having 3 meals a day. Oh, being frugal is having 2 meals. Why? There are people who don't have any meal. Why you are having 2 meals a day? Then you say, okay, 2 meals is frugal because that sense I can help somebody. Then one fellow will come and ask, there are people eating only 1 meal a day. Why you are having 2 meals a day? You can be frugal. Then you go to 1 meal a day. Then one fellow says, hey, people are starving for weeks. Why are you having 1 meal?
Yeah.
You understand?
Or meeting.
So therefore understand this. When you say that, then what you have to do? You have to only die. in your frugality. Why? Because somebody is not having food at all. So you have to give your existing food and not have anything. So that is not frugality. What is frugality? It is well within your income. That's all. That tomorrow anything happens, you will not be perturbed or disturbed. That's what is called frugality. So therefore, the wealth or your income becomes part of that equation of frugality. That's all.
I've gone through myself when I try to be frugal and I bought shirts. So I can afford, I'm just saying again, 3,000 rupees shirt, but I just bought 1,500 shirt. I'm just saying that. I said, why should I just spend unnecessary there? So I just taught us to be frugal. But then my mind is going to that shop and saying, I could have easily afforded the 3,000 rupees shirt. Yeah. Why did I, do like that? I should have bought it there. Now I'm not able to enjoy this 1,500 shirt also, and my mind is getting out there. So I could have easily got there. Why am I doing that now, man? So that's why it triggered me, or it just hit me when you said that frugal. I said, I don't want to be in that zone of disturb. So I know at 90 put by Prabhu also income plus expense within your wealth, whatever comfortably own. Comfortably is there. It's not that you're stretching yourself and saying, no, I want to show somebody that I have this across there. Then that's a problem in life. Within your limit, if you can own across there, and that can be owned so that you are done and dusted with that desire, or mind will just settle down in that area of life. That will not disturb. That is that I just stepped into share. I done that mistake and then I corrected it next time. I'm that way peaceful then.
Any other questions? So that is standardization. Question 3. The ultimate goal. There are 3 spiritual practices directed to the 3 equipments that human possesses: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. Could you explain these 3 spiritual practices from your point of view with examples? Prabhu is the question.
Yeah. So I'll just say, set in and see whatever I understand is trying to share. There are only these 3 paths towards to reach the higher. And again, I think, I hope I'm not confusing everyone or confusing myself. There's this understanding which you have over a period of time should know your own constitution. Own constitution is you would be naturally more that sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic nature which is there. Person who's very active in life, like rajasic, naturally he will, and first of all, so he will have to do more karma yoga, action related activities to be able to reach that path towards it. So that's one. And I was always wondering that what is the bhakti in terms of their devotional people. Now, for me, devotional is not comes very naturally in terms of being able to completely surrender to those bhajans and activities. So when I go to academy also, I'm not able to surrender that in that activity. But in karma yoga, if I say, okay, sweep the entire ashram, okay, get that, action, fast, karo, that will happen very easily for me. And jhana part is very in terms of intellectual. So a lot of people get intellectually, if I can say, involved or attracted or feel that, and they will use the knowledge as a source or a way to reach and go slowly to higher. Each one of us have with all 3 of it. It's not that we will not have either of it, but to be able to know the proportion over time. And then once you know the proportion that you are more rajasic or more active, you prefer to be more reading books, analyzing books, reflection books across there, the jnana part there. Once you know that, and slowly, gradually, according to your constitution, you start working in each of that, you will reach to, I mean, you at least in the path, I'm not saying you will get to the ultimate goal, but you will feel innerly that you're going towards that path and someday get there. It'll keep changing. It's not that permanent across there, but you may say I'm 60% karma yoga, 30% jnana yoga, 10% this. So all three are just mediums or mechanisms to get to the higher. And having known yours and starting working towards it, it'll help these equipments to reach to a point where you will get to the higher. Would be my answer to this.
Mahesh?
Yes, Swami, I also believe that to start with, maybe I'm more intellectual. I will be more inclined to Jnanam. But in ultimately, all this, if I start with intellectual thing, automatically devotion and karma yoga will naturally flower when I'm on the right path. These things will also flower because now I intellectually know how complex the world is. There is some energy behind this working and everything. Then I will be devotionally also like awestruck by its beauty and by the nature's creation. And I don't say it's a person, but as an energy, whatever it is, depends on the individual. Then karma yoga will also like I need to do something to the world, or I need to do for the greater good. These thoughts will naturally flower. Anywhere, it is same with the devotional also. If you start anywhere, eventually all these are like the one and the same path. Rather than looking at it as different paths, some say Bhakti Yoga is supreme, it is a yeah, or Jnana Yoga is very easy. It's not that it depends on the has rightly put by Mr. Nimeshji. So you need to know where what incline what we are inclined to, and then start from there and build on.
So the three spiritual practices should practiced in proportion to your nature. How much active you are, how much emotional you are, how much intellectual you are. So nobody can avoid the three. So the predominance could be in certain activities. Like Nimesh said, predominantly Karma Yoga inspires him. So he has to do the Karma Yoga part of it. Maybe for people like us who are studying so much, maybe Jnana Yoga is more inspiring for us too. But it's not inferior or superior. Your nature is towards that. That's all. That's all it means. So first is to find the constitution. How much, take 100 actions. How much are you prone to thinking? How much are you prone to acting? How much are you prone to feeling? And what is your predominant nature? The first reaction to anything shows your nature. When you're told when you face some situation, the instant reaction is to act, then you're active by nature. Your instant reaction is to question it. Why should I do? Why should I not? Then you're intellectual by nature. The instant reaction is seeing the good or bad. Oh, it is nice, it's not nice. Then you are emotional by nature. The predominance is known by the first reaction you have to situations. Then you can arrive at the proportion. Slowly you can arrive at the proportion, what it is, right? So this is how you first arrive at your constitution. Now, Karma Yoga means just considering other person's interest in your life. Simply put, that's what Karma Yoga is. You are considerate to another person while acting. It's called Karma Yoga. So when you're walking, when you see other people walking, you open the door. Karma Yoga. Very simply put, this is all Karma Yoga only. That's also Karma Yoga only, because you want to serve somebody. Serve. When you are going on the road, if somebody is hurrying, let him go. Karma Yoga. Let him go. It's okay. How does it matter? Nothing. Because you know that in another 5 minutes, you're going to catch up with the person. He is desperate. Let him go. Karma Yoga. So this attitude of service, or when you meet somebody, the attitude of what can I do for this person is called Karma Yoga. When you meet somebody, the attitude is what can I get out of this person? That's called selfishness. So Karma Yoga is the change of attitude while acting. That's what it means. So even at home, how I can serve my partner, how I can serve my children. Earlier you were serving because it was your wife and your child. Now you are changing that selfish aspect of it. You say you want to serve them. They are human beings. You just serve them. So that is your attitude. You go to the workplace. What is your attitude? How can I serve my organization? This is the attitude inside. Outside, maybe you may be tough with somebody, you may be nice to somebody, that's the expression. But from your internal thing, you're not going there to say how I can make money out of this person, this institution. You are going to instantly get it, no problem. But your attitude, how can I serve? This is called Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is where it is to do with the flow of emotions. You find out which sort of a devotional practice inspires you. Some people feel nice listening to devotional music. Some people feel inspired by listening to devotional chants, not music, just chanting. You understand? Some people get inspired by reading Puranas or the Mahabharata, the Mahabharata or Ramayana. You read the story. It's actually devotion because that particular the person is highlighted, right? It develops your feeling of reverence for them. It's a devotion. So you find out what inspires you and pick up that activity. If your bhajans do not inspire you, the chants inspire you, listen to them. It's okay. Or if just reading such material inspires you, read that material. So you define that devotional activity for yourself. See, if you read Ramayana, it's the whole thing is about service, isn't it? So you get inspired. The devotion gets. That's why the Ramayana and Mahabharata is written. Ramayana more so because very ideal living, isn't it? Each person is so sacrificial, isn't it? Rama is sacrificing, Lakshmana is sacrificing, Bharata is sacrificing, everybody is sacrificing. So the mind feels a sort of devotion and inspiration. So reading such material also is a devotional practice. This is not jnanam. Jnanam is purely sitting with like what we are doing. This is called jnanam. So what is jnanam? Jnanam is you practice it in life by choosing anything that is more permanent. Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vicharam. What is permanent, what is impermanent in life? You make your choices based on that. You start doing it in life itself. Then when it comes to this philosophy also, you will do that. A person can choose a partner based on the beauty. The person can choose a partner based on their inner character. That's much more permanent than physical beauty. You can choose a job based on the revenue that it generates. You can choose a job that is more satisfying for you. That's more permanent. You understand? So in every aspect of life, you choose something that's more permanent. See, something is very high flying, everything, it looks very attractive to the mind. But in the long run, it's not going to work, right? So therefore, you look for something that's more permanent in every aspect of it. That's why you choose things in life. This is practice of Jnana Yoga at the material level, at the worldly level. Actual Jnana Yoga is what we are doing the e-learning, doing the classes and everything, and you're studying. This is actual Jnana Yoga. This practice is all actual Jnana Yoga. So you don't have to do anything more than this. You're already doing enough. You're doing e-learning, you're attending the classes, attending the Q&A session. This itself is Jnana Yoga. But how do you practice it and work in the world is this. Choose something more permanent and don't have to choose something that's impermanent. So this is a Jnana Yoga practice. This is how you understand. Any questions? If not, we'll go to the next question because we have some 7-8 questions accumulated. So we'll go to the ultimate goal. There are 2 states of consciousness, conditioned and unconditioned, pure consciousness. When the sages meditate for years, are they in a state of unconditioned consciousness? What does it take to reach that state? Prabhu is the questioner.
Swami, I have no idea, Swami.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. So
Sages get to, I don't even know sages get to unconditioned consciousness. Knowledge is limited. Sorry.
We cannot talk about an apple unless we have eaten it. So
correct. So it's good because we have only 5 minutes. So anyway, the question will get answered. And so all of us, everybody is going through a state of conditioned consciousness. What is conditioned consciousness? If you are asked the question, are you conscious? You cannot answer that question. Immediate question is of what? Are you conscious of the noise made by the fan? Oh, yes, yes, sir, I'm able to hear, I'm not able to hear. Are you conscious of the sunlight hitting Nimesh? Yes, the sunlight is hitting Nimesh. So the moment you're asked, are you conscious, you can never answer the question. You can only answer a question if it is adding that of what? Of. This is called conditioned consciousness. Any consciousness you know is of something. You're conscious of objects, you're conscious of emotions, you're conscious of thoughts. So this is all called conditioned consciousness. Right? This is number one. Number two. So the entire waking experience we are having now, it's called conditioned consciousness. Why? In the waking state, you're conscious of waking objects, you're conscious of waking emotions, conscious of waking thoughts, conscious of people in the waking state, conscious of everything around you, right? So the waking state itself is called state of conditioned consciousness. So when you go to sleep tonight and you go through a dream, that dream is also called conditioned consciousness. Why? In the dream also, the dreamer is conscious of his experiences. So the waking and dream states are called conditioned states, called conditioned consciousness. When you go into dreamless sleep tonight, which is called deep sleep, that is also called a conditioned state, because there you are conditioned by nothingness or bliss. Because you say, in that sleep when I got up, such a bliss, I was conscious of the bliss of the deep sleep. Right? So the waking, dream and deep sleep are states of conditioned consciousness. Right? So what is the unconditioned consciousness? That is the state of pure consciousness. That is called unconditioned consciousness. So a person who's a sage, or all of us, when we are in the waking state, dream state or deep sleep state, we are in conditioned consciousness. When the sage is also meditating, they are in conditioned consciousness only. Why? They are meditating on the thought of the self, which is I am conscious of this thought of the self, right? So conscious of has already come. That's also conditioned consciousness. Only when a person achieves enlightenment, they go into the unconditioned consciousness state or the pure consciousness state, where they are able to experience the consciousness per se without the need for any of these experiences. Only those people reach the unconditioned consciousness state. So whether it is a very, very lowly person who is still not evolved, very ignorant, or the highest evolved person, everybody is in the state of conditioned consciousness. Right? It's a conditioned consciousness within a particular state, and across states also it's all conditioned consciousness. Waking, dream, and deep sleep.
So you're saying those people who are in the mountains of Himalaya, like meditating for 15 or 20 years, not even like conscious of other what's going around them, they're also like
They
doing
are
it on.
they are conscious of the thought that they are holding on to, no, to of thought of
Okay,
Brahman or whatever. That is also conditioned consciousness.
got it. Okay.
So conditioned consciousness has nothing to do with knowing things around you. Conditioned consciousness has to do with anything that you're conscious of. There is an object, there is an emotion, or there is a thought that you're conscious of. You're not staying in pure consciousness. That's what it means.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So, Swami, what is unconditioned consciousness then?
So when the person achieves enlightenment, which is called the God realization and everything, at that point of time, they are able to stay in the pure consciousness, just the consciousness per se as a state. We will not
So
be
the
able to
consciousness,
understand. We will never be able to understand because we are always in conditioned state.
so it's like merging our consciousness with the universal consciousness or
Correct,
the
correct,
supreme
correct. That's all.
consciousness.
Correct. It's a merger of your individual consciousness to the universal consciousness. Correct. That's what it means. Any other questions? There are a lot of questions left, but since we are come to 7:59, I'm not taking up any new questions. If there are no clarifications, we'll conclude here. We'll meet in the next class.
Hari Om Sham.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swami. Hari Om, everyone. Okay.